Hey folks, welcome back to Skyward Sword. We're here in the second dungeon, the Earth Temple, and as you can see, it is our obligatory fire dungeon that comes second in the line of dungeons, just like most 3D Zelda games seem to have. Anyway, I actually like this dungeon a fair bit, mostly because it hides its linearity a little better. There is actually one point where you can do things in two different orders, and it's fun. But for now, all we have is this little entry, little passageway, and tons of fire keys. Again, if you still have that wooden shield, seriously, dude, I should do something about that. And here's our little sort of almost plot-related thing for this dungeon. The magmas are in here, and one of them is missing. Hell if I remember which one it is. So there's our motivation, as if we didn't already have one. And by our motivation, I mean the rupees, not the missing magma. I don't really care about him. Anyway, in the hero mode, if you dig, oh dear, if you dig in hero mode and nothing comes out, it probably means there were hearts in there originally. But since it's hero mode, they're not there. And it always just makes me die a little bit inside when I don't get a wonderful prize. Anyway, wonderful timing puzzles. Not really a timing puzzle. I feel like these could have been interesting obstacles if the, like, the leaning physics there played in a bit more. If you, like, were fighting an enemy, but if you went too far to the side, it would collapse and you'd get lit on fire or something. As it stands, it just makes you wait, and that's boring. Less boring, however, is rope cutting. There's some interesting architecture here. There's actual, like, science being done with pulleys and other 7th grade things. Anyway, Mr. Bug comes out once again. I think that's actually pretty clever. You have two on either side that are pretty obvious, and then you're like, oh wait, that didn't work. Now what? And then you look around, and then you use Mr. Bug, and it's wonderful. You know, Fee, I could see the new enemy. The door was positioned in just such a way where I could, like, see through it and see that there was, in fact, a new enemy there. Didn't need it. Anyway, these guys, I believe, they're either Lizafos or Dynaphos, not sure which, but as you can see, they have that armored arm there, and if you attempt to strike that, they will block it, and they are also very crafty at dodging things. They tend to cause me issues. Like, they're not too bad, but they're a little more devious, and I find their tail swinging a little hard to time. Anyway, this is basically the main room of the dungeon. You have, see this big statue here, and basically it's going to give us a way to navigate across all this lava. Yes, sirree doodle, we got rolling. Hot lava rolling. And basically that'll allow us to go to the various islands in this little lava lake here. And I think it's pretty clever. You have to be careful. I'll go into more detail when we're writing a bit more, but we'll have to be careful not to fall off, because it is possible to fall off. Anyway, our eventual goal is to get over to the other side there. But to do that, we will need to push the ball into those little, like, pushy things. I cannot think of a better word for those. And essentially, the big hub puzzle of the dungeon is, how do I get the ball over there? And I remember in my original video review, oh, Girabama. In my original video review, I kind of complained that there weren't enough of those whole dungeon puzzles, but this satisfies that need. Anyway, bomb puzzle here. More interesting use of that timing thing there. Gotta throw the bomb on there, then it'll get lifted up and explode and open the way. Again, easy to figure out. and the timing is lenient enough that you don't really have to think. You can basically pick it and throw it on as soon as it comes down and is available. But, I mean, it makes you think a little bit, rather than just tossing the bomb immediately. Look at all those prizes. Speaking of prizes, more things to dig. I'm not sure why they give you so many things to dig in. Like, I know you just got the digging mitts, and they're like, hey, this totally isn't a useless item. Here, have some prizes. But, at the same time, it's just, all it does is make me waste a couple seconds to get a couple rupees, which I am happy to do, but as a videographer, I don't know if that's the best idea. Anyway, you can see they're lava frogs. Various frogs of various sorts will try to impede our progress in various aquatic or like hydro-like situations. Best way to get rid of them is to roll over them. So cool. And here's that missing magma. Gee, I wonder what the item of the dungeon is. It's a little bit like in Ocarina of Time, when you would get a hold of using bomb flowers before you actually got the bomb bag, and then in the second dungeon, and in the fire dungeon, you would finally get your bomb bag and be able to use it and the bombs whenever you like. It's basically, this section took a lot of inspiration from Ocarina of Time, and you're about to see an even better example of that. Look at these rupees, that's just 15 in the past 10 seconds. This is crafty. A little terrain obstacle, you have to actually be careful not to fall off here. Like, no weird wobbling physics, just don't move too quickly or else you'll lose control of yourself. And Jesus Christ, 50 rupees, what is going? Why do I need all these rupees? I don't know. Fairies appreciated though. See, I've gotten to the point where I've stopped being grateful for those rupees, and I'm just like, why are they giving me so many rupees? Why don't you just make things cost less? Anyway, yeah, that's the solution to the puzzle. Pretty easy to figure out. But it also means that the little trek I did to get those various prizes was completely optional. I like little things like that, where they're side avenues, but they don't really look like side avenues. Anyway, remember when I said that this area took a lot of inspiration from Ocarina of Time? Yep-a-rooney, we got fighting two Lizafos on hexagonal platforms over lava. This is the mini-boss from the Dongo's Cavern in Ocarina of Time. Anyway, yeah, you might think this would be tricky because you're fighting two at the same time, but generally, only one will harass you at a time, and oh my dear, I am not in a good situation. I say it's not tricky, but I am getting kind of harassed. But yeah, much like the original fight in Ocarina of Time, usually only one will bother you at once. But sometimes they'll sneak up behind you, and that's kind of like luring you into a false sense of security. Keep an eye out, but don't worry too much. Oh, you fool, Link, you're supposed to fish him off. And as a wonderful prize for that, my bag. Not entirely sure why the Lizafos put it in the chest, but okay. And all that's left is to return this to lead. Like, yeah, we're totally gonna return this. we have to go deeper. And hooray, now we have access to explosives. Now the cool thing about bombs in this game is that rather than being manufactured by the man, it's all organic, you know, like real organic stuff. So basically, all these bomb flowers that we've seen around are our ammunition. There are no, like, man-made bombs. Any bombs that you would buy in a store were just hand-picked. Real natural. And so that also makes it incredibly easy to restock bombs, because bombs regrow very quickly. So you can just move around and stuff them into your sack, and they won't explode. And it's just that easy. If you are in an area that needs bombs, they will give you bombs, and there will be no worries. Anyway, now that we have the bombs, we can now make good on our determination to get the ball around and push those pushy things. And yeah, as you can see, as I will shuffle forward, Link goes a little further forward on the ball. That if he goes too far forward, he dies. That's bad. Anyway, craftily hidden secret passage, that actually stumped me for quite a while when I originally played. You can see the exit, but not the entrance. So what I did was I sent Mr. Bug through and saw what was going on. That's the power of Mr. Bug. But yeah, bomb opened that cavern, and now we have a little obstacle course of sorts. And you know, just while we're still managing this ball, I'm amazed that it doesn't have a Wii Motion Plus gimmick. Like, it is completely controlled with a control stick. Imagine that. Like, considering they did balancing for the tightropes and, like, everything else, it just kind of blows my mind that balancing on the ball is not. But it does make it all that much easier. And I suppose they didn't want to outlive the gimmick's welcome. As if they don't do that already. Anyway, again, crafty. Those walls, I don't know, they're subtle. Eventually, I guess you develop an eye for them. But they're nowhere near as obvious as some of the cracked walls. And, like, any of the cracked walls in any other Zelda game, basically. Except Zelda 1, because those had no indicators and it was fucking bullshit. And yeah, be careful not to go into those, like, vomiting statues vomiting lava. Those are dangerous. Anyway, return of the little string gimmick thing. So we got those rupees. We will need to send Mr. Bug on an expedition. And of course there's another one. And I can't say this is incredibly creative, but it is Mr. Bug, so I love it. Also, this is a good demonstration that Bokoblins get freaked out by Mr. Bug. If you weren't already aware, this little puzzle would clue you into that fact. And you could use it for fun and profit in the future. Anyway, scurry along, scurry along. And yeah, bombs are also a great way to get rid of these dudes. Often if you try to run them over, they'll anticipate you and start to attack you, as that guy tried to do there. But that was just too cool for him. Scoot on through, there we go. Again, timing. Pretty lenient, and wow, this makes all the sense in the world. This works with physics on a level beyond mortal comprehension. I mean, I get the puzzle. They want to make sure that you can steer and not fall into an abyss, but that just makes no goddamn sense. If there were any, like, volcanologists, again, I forgot the term for volcanologists, tell me how the hell that makes sense. I'm not complaining, I'm doing that thing where people are like, ooh, video games don't make sense. Anyway, yeah, we got another Lithos here. Alone. And sad. And I am proud of myself for surviving that encounter. Eventually I'm gonna need to use that fairy, or one of those fairies that I do have. But, not right now. Why even bother putting that in a chest? I have found 2.5 times that in a single hole. Anyway, pushy over here. And each one of these pushy things raises up a different part of the platform. And if you do this side first, you can just go under this archway and go straight to the other side. But considering this is kind of the harder path to find, you're more likely to do the left side first, and then you'll have to still figure out the other puzzle. But if you know what you're doing, you can save time. Love shit like that. Anyway, just a few more things to investigate over here. Ooh, a feather. Isn't that just the most useful thing? Blue feathers are actually one of the more rare treasures that you can get. They're required for a couple upgrades. I will probably have to seek some out at some point. See, look, this is so much more than was in that chest. I don't see why they needed to bother putting that 20 rubies in a chest. Anywho, there's only one last little branch that we need to go on before heading through, and I was afraid I was going to jump into the lava there, but no worries. Yep, now that we have control of our bombs, we can bomb this thing. And I think my first time playing, I just did not go over here at all, because it is entirely unnecessary. By the way, Lithos is good at dodging the Skyward Strike, as you can see. So yeah, right now, not really a good situation, but... See, slingshot, he blocks the slingshot. What am I gonna do? Sorta works. Yeah, that's a crafty way to position enemies. Oh no. And there you go. Not really a death, but I'm now demonstrating the fairy mechanics. But yeah, I'm not a perfect player, I'll admit. You may have noticed this because I've gotten hurt before. I'm sorry. I've failed you all. But I guarantee you'll never see an actual death. Anyway, this little side room does have a prize. It's not a very useful one. I'm running low on bombs. So yeah, we got this series of platforms, and again, I feel like they could have done something different with these platforms, like maybe if they crumbled under your weight to make the time mechanic a little more daring. But no, they basically serve as any other platform, except they can move vertically sometimes. Oh, quit blocking my strikes. Yeah, that's the time when you use the Gearheim leading technique. And yeah, I say that this part is optional because doodly-doo dungeon map. And we've already gotten through the most linear section of the dungeon. I mean, the least linear section of the dungeon. As you can see, the rest was just a narrow path. So I suppose maybe you get the bombs and you're like, okay, where do I go now? Grab the dungeon map and you're like, okay, so there's a little side path over there that I'll need to figure out. I wonder how I get over there. But, I don't know, I didn't use it. I could have used it, probably would have been useful, but I didn't. That's how it goes. And again with the fire frogs. The frogs, honestly, are dicks. Fire frogs, pretty big dicks. Frogs that we'll see in the next area, also pretty big dicks. Are you sick of seeing me dig things up yet? I hope not. But like I said, there's a lot less to be dug in different areas. This is the most diggable area, because they want to make sure that you're using it. Anyway, now, finally, we'll be moving on to the second portion of the dungeon. Done with my favorite part of the dungeon, done with the hub kind of stuff, done with creativity and exploring. Linear path time, let's go. And I'll see you guys next time for the second part of this dungeon.